Good morning. Welcome to Sun and Moon's little live yoga stream. We'll give a few minutes here for people to get on. Hope the day is starting well. It's kind of chilly this morning and a little overcast where I am. So a little movement I think will be pretty good. So for those of you on, good morning, Dina. Hello. I actually don't think I've ever actually met you. Um, I've heard so many wonderful things. Well, hello. Um, while we're waiting, if you like to use props and you want to have some ready, I would suggest some blocks or some stacks of books, um, and a chair. Definitely not mandatory, but if you, again, like to play with props, um, and a blanket, of course, just to have at the ready if you should find that you need that. Okay. So just get your space ready and maybe just take a moment to kind of get yourself, oh, sorry guys, in the space to practice. Okay, excellent. All right. For the official welcome, this is Sun and Moon Yoga Studios, Tuesday morning live little yoga break. I titled it Find Your Foundation because, if you're like me, things are kind of shaky right now. Things are um, just wobbly. Uh, and so in yoga, we start from the ground up. We find our foundation and kind of build from there. And so I just invite, as we go through just these shapes and these postures, we're going to be thinking about where the foundation is. And then also too, if life kind of gets chaotic, as I know, I mean, at least it does for me, sometimes just taking a moment, no matter where you are, and bringing your attention to the foundation, what's touching the earth, my feet, my sits bones, where am I? Am I in my car in traffic and I'm feeling my heart rate getting higher? Just to, with your eyes open, of course, if you're in the car, um, noticing the ground, noticing the foundation can kind of bring us back to the present moment where we can then move from there. Okay, so let's find a seat, a comfortable seat on your mat. Whether that's blocks under the hips, a blanket, however you're comfortable. And just notice what's touching the earth. Notice your foundation here. I'm going to use a block. That is a loving choice for myself today. So take a deep breath in, drop the pin, just kind of put the to-do list for the rest of the day aside, and just notice what's touching the earth, the sits bones, the ankles, maybe the bottoms of the feet, depending on what seat is comfortable for you. And then growing from there, lengthen your spine, whatever that means to you. How can you, from your foundation, grow a little taller here? And then once there, notice your breath. And we're not judging it, we're not doing anything to it, we're just noticing it. How is it today? Is it fast? Is it slow? What's going on? And we'll just take a few moments to notice, maybe adjust. Maybe this posture, this seated position needs a little, adjustment for you. Okay, go ahead, adjust it. And take a few slow breaths. And now, from where you are, take your right hand, place it to the mat. Take your left arm up and imagine that we're reaching high and then leaning over ever so slightly to the right. So maybe this is the first bit of movement you're doing this morning. And so, gentle movement here, maybe rotating your heart and your face down towards your mat, maybe rotating it up, just kind of really gently checking in with the side body, the low back. And then take it to the other side, left hand down, right hand up, reaching up first and then over. Feeling the right side out. And then we're going to very slowly kind of take it left and right. So go back to the right and slowly take it to the other side. And so now the foundation here, what's touching the earth? The sits bones, the ankles. And now we've got the foundation. Where's the breath? What's it doing? And maybe you inhale as you switch, exhale as you stretch. Inhale, exhale. Excellent. Stay here with the right hand down on your mat. Very gently sweep your top hand across the front, stretching through the low back and taking it to the other side this time. Sweeping the right hand forward, taking it to the other side. Sweeping the left hand forward, taking it to the right. Breathe. And now sweep the right hand forward and pause, folding towards the center. Fold forward any amount. The foundation here is your hips and your sits bones on the mat. Try to let them get heavy. So your face does not need to plant into the carpet here. If this is loving to your body and your low back, and this is where you stay. Breathe here, breathe into the low back. And as you inhale, walk the hands back to sit up. Now take the soles of the feet, bring them together. And also, give yourself some space here. So sometimes, we see the yoga magazines and we're like, ugh, I need it up. But I would say, give yourself a little space. Walk your feet out. And then, in the vein of finding the foundation and steadiness, maybe take your thumbs to the soles of your feet And just kind of give yourself a little massage here, a little foot massage, and kind of coax your feet kind of open like a book. Not forcing anything, just massaging, just noticing. And from this space, where's your foundation? My sits bones, the outer edges of my feet. I've got the foundation. Now, where's my breath? As you're massaging the feet, maybe the ankles, or maybe this is kind of not really your thing. And so just clasp onto the ankles or maybe the knees and just sit and notice breathing. Take a few moments here. Excellent. No matter what you're doing, if you're massaging your feet, excellent. Grab on to the legs, the ankles, the shins. Lift up through the spine and the chest. Grow from your foundation. Inhale. And then exhale, make your way to table. So we'll come to hands and knees. From here, move into your cat-cows, dropping the belly, lifting the chin, and then rounding the spine, letting the crown move towards the earth. And just take it back and forth between these two shapes at your own pace. Just feel it out, noticing the palms on the earth, the shins, the tops of the feet. Maybe your toes are curled under. That's fine too. Just notice what's touching the earth, and then what's your breath doing? Maybe you exhale as you go into cat and inhale as you find cow. And maybe go off road a little bit. So take your hips to one side, maybe take your hips to the other side. And so from the foundation of our hands and our knees on the earth, play a little bit. You can move, you can find the freedom in the safety of the foundation. Feel out the hips, feel out the low back, breathing. And then make your way back to table. And we're going to move through a very gentle little vinyasa just to kind of warm up the body here. So walk the hands forward just a little bit and let the hips sink forward. We're coming into a half plank. Okay? Hug the elbows into the side body, lower all the way down. On an inhale, lift the head, neck, and chest to a baby cobra. Exhale. As you exhale, press back to child's pose. Inhale, back up to your half plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale to baby cobra. Exhale, press back into your child's pose. And we'll do this a few more times. Inhale, up to half plank. Exhale, down. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, back to child's pose. And pause here in your child's pose. Maybe knees together, hands back towards your toes, or maybe take your knees wide, bring the big toes to touch, sink your hips, and extend your arms out. Rest your forehead, if you're able, onto the mat. And notice the foundation. Notice what's touching the earth. Notice your breath. Now, if your arms are back by your toes, take your hands forward, press back up to your table, curl the toes under, and find downward facing dog. Maybe your first of the day, so pedal out the feet, bend the knees, see how this shape feels today. Breathing. And then once you've found your movement, your little bicycle pedals, find stillness. So find the positioning of your feet, find the positioning of your hands as your foundation, and just breathe. A couple breaths here, noticing the palms on the earth, the soles of the feet. And we're going to make our way to forward fold. So, however that's best for you, you can drop the knees and kind of come up that way. Or if you'd like, from your downward facing dog, walk your hands back towards your feet. Feet can be hip distance apart, or if you choose, you can bring the feet together, really together, whichever feels better. And I would really invite you to just kind of bend your knees and as generously as feels good. And then just kind of release the weight of the head and the neck, breathing. On an inhale, lift halfway up, your version. So maybe fingertips on the mat, maybe hands on the thighs, and then exhale as you release. Bring your hands to your knees and press all the way up to standing. Now we're going to be moving into mountain pose. So if you have your block, it's kind of a nice little exercise to do with the block. If not, no biggie at all. So find a place on your mat, stand in mountain pose. Take the block right between your thighs. If you don't have the block, again, no big deal. Take your feet hip distance apart, or there is also a place to put your feet right next to each other, whichever feels better. Extend the arms down to your sides. Eyes can be open or closed, or take a soft gaze. Breathe here. If you do have the block between your thighs, press slightly into the block and just notice, does that change the feeling of steadiness? Notice your feet on the earth, on your mat, your foundation. How does it feel? And then breathe. If you have the block in between your thighs, you can take it out and move it to the side. And from here, if your feet are hip distance apart, just go ahead and step them together just for a moment. Bring the hands to the hips. Transfer your weight into your left foot, and we're going to come into a one-legged mountain pose. So that sounds like a lot, but there's lots of variation here. So come to your toe of your right foot. Hands on the hips, hands at heart center, wherever you feel most comfortable, and stay here with your toe on the earth. Another option is to flex your foot, bringing your toe off the earth. Another option is to lift your knee, bent, so it's about at a 90-degree angle with your hip. And now, how has the foundation changed? It's different. It's a little bit less than it was when we were in all fours. It's now the left foot is the foundation. Breathing. What do we do in this shape? Breathe. Inhale, exhale, and release everything back down. Maybe give it a little shake. Okay, other side. Now, hands can remain on the hips. Again, you can find a heart center. If you even feel that you want to take the arms up and overhead, give it a shot. Play with it. Transfer your weight to the right foot. Come to the toe of the left foot. Maybe stay here. Notice the foundation. Flex the foot maybe. Bring the foot totally off the earth, the left foot. Or maybe lift so that your knee is at a 90-degree angle with your hip. Breathe. Feel the foundation pressing into all the corners of the feet. Maybe you lift the arms. Breathe. And release everything back down with control. Excellent. Now, take the feet wide, a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Rotate the toes out. We're going to move into goddess pose. Okay, so feet a little bit wide, toes out. Bend the knees any amount, okay? So take it easy on the joints. Bend the knees, just feel it out. And keep your spine in alignment with your pelvis. So head over heart, heart over pelvis. So I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see. We're not kind of sitting in a chair. We're going straight down. And if you say, okay, well, if I can't go like this and I can't get down far, that's okay. It doesn't matter how far down you go. Just kind of feel it out. You might notice a little shake here. You might notice the body heat elevating a little bit, and that's great. That's okay. Hands can be on the hips for now. And maybe just rise up and then kind of feel it out again. Just kind of feel it out with your breath. And then the next time your knees are bent and you are kind of in, at this point, horse pose, pause. Notice your foundation. Pressing into all corners of the feet. Breathing. Ooh, getting a little shaky. It's okay. It's okay. We are alive on a Tuesday. This is great. Keep the hands at the hips or take them into goalpost or cactus arms. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. And excellent. Drop the arms, straighten the legs. Okay. Woo. Release. Now, if you have your chair with you, this is the time to kind of bring it forward. We're moving into wide-legged forward fold, okay? So from our goddess pose, our toes are out. Now, we're gonna bring our toes parallel to each other, okay? So feet are still wide, toes are pointing forward. And ultimately, we're gonna be folding forward, okay? Again, being very loving to the hamstrings and the low back. So if you have a chair, have the chair facing away from you, you can rest your arms on the back of the chair. If you want to do a different variation, turn the chair around to face you, you can put your hands on the seat. You can bend your arms and rest on the seat like this, okay? If you're like, that's great, I don't need a chair, I have blocks. Perfect. So have the blocks right in front of you at any height. Right in the center. Toes pointing forward, hands on the hips. Inhale. Lengthen through the spine. And hinging from the hips as you exhale, bend forward. If you have blocks, chair, find your version. Maybe you are choosing not to do the blocks and you fold all the way forward, bringing the hands to the earth, pressing into all corners of the feet. Inhale, exhale, noticing your foundation. One more breath here. Now, if your hands are on the earth, bring them forward and straighten the arms. If you are already on your blocks or on your chair, excellent. You are already in position. So from here, we're going to heel toe the feet closer together. So you just take the toes in, then you take the heels in and the toes in. So we're kind of in a variation of forward fold here. Beautiful. Okay, from here, we're going to make our way down to the floor, down to a flat back. So if you're here or on the chair, you can bend your knee like this and make your way that way. Or if you want a little love for the feet, you can kind of lift the heels and kind of curl into a little ball. A little stretching for the feet. And then roll back onto your back. As you get there, hug the knees into the chest and just give a little rock back and forth. Now, I really like this particular positioning with the back on the earth. Personally, I like it just because I've heard a yoga teacher say, your yoga mat has your back and your yoga practice has your back. And I really like that. That sits well with me. Maybe it sits well with you too. If not, that's okay. So hugging the knees into the chest. Take your arms out to the side, palms down at about shoulder height. And bring both knees over to the right. Any amount. If they come to the floor, awesome. If they don't, that's totally okay too. Into a reclined twist. If you like a little bit more stretch, extend the top leg straight, flexing through the top foot. You may find that you feel that a little bit more in the back of the hip, the left hip. And breathe. Notice what's touching the earth. How does that feel? Notice your breath. And make your way back to center. Inhale and exhale, take it over to the left. Letting the knees fall wherever they do. Maybe extending that top leg if you like a little more stretch in the side of the hip. Breathing. Excellent. Come back to center. Hug the knees into your chest. And then stretch everything out. Stretch the arms, legs, stretch them out on your mat. Maybe rotate your ankles, rotate your wrists, stretch. And then bring your hands back down to your sides. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Roll to one side and come to a comfortable seated position. Maybe that's on a blanket, maybe that's on your block. And just notice the mind and body are a continuum. And so sometimes we can help quiet the mind by getting to it through the body, through the physical aspects of noticing the foundation, and finding the breath. The mind kind of agrees to come along. Bring your hands to your heart center. From my heart to yours, I hope that you enjoyed today's practice. It was a joy for me to share this with you. So I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday, and we'll see you next week. Have a great day.